Hey man, let's get one thing straight right off the bat. Women always have options. From the moment she posts a filtered selfie, she's got dudes in her inbox. From the second she walks into a room, there are eyes scanning, evaluating, wondering what it would take to win her. That's the reality of modern dating. But here's the thing, so what? The weak man panics at this truth. The strong man shrugs, because women's other options are only a threat to men who don't believe in themselves. If you're worried about the next guy, it's because you don't yet know the gravity of your own value. But the man who understands who he is, his standards, his energy, his aura, he knows he is the prize. The other guys don't matter because no one can compete with a man who doesn't compete. He leads his own lane, and she feels it. Hypergamy isn't evil, it's female nature. Women are biologically wired to seek the highest value male they can secure, not the nicest, not the most available, but the most dominant, secure, and grounded. It's not about money, looks, or charm in isolation. It's about total energetic authority. So when she weighs her options, she's not picking based on resumes. She's feeling for emotional gravity, the man who gives her butterflies by doing nothing. The one who sits back in silence and owns the room without trying. You don't beat her options by being more available, you beat them by being less impressed. Her other options become irrelevant the moment she feels that she could lose you. And trust me, she always senses which man is moved by fear and which one moves through power. You see, when you're grounded in your masculine energy, women instinctively rank you differently. You're not just another guy trying to get her, you're the man she can't read, can't predict, can't influence, and that drives her wild. The reason most guys lose to her options is because they're operating from a place of insecurity. They think, what if she picks him? But the high-value man thinks, if she picks him, then she was never mine to begin with. He doesn't chase what's unsure, he attracts what's aligned. That's the difference. One energy pleads, the other pulls. One energy clings, the other commands. You don't stop her from exploring options by controlling her. You let her choose, and you remain unattached either way. That's what makes you irreplaceable. Hypergamy is often misunderstood. It's not just about dating up, it's about emotional elevation. A woman will leave a rich, successful man if he makes her feel small, and she'll stay with a man who makes her feel alive, even if he's still building his empire. Because her decision isn't logical, it's psychological, it's emotional. She isn't looking for a checklist, she's craving an experience. And the man who provides that without needing her wins every single time. Her other options may have more status, more flash, more game, but they lack the soul anchoring that only you bring. When she feels your unshakable presence, when she sees that nothing she does alters your emotional center, that's when her hypergamy submits, not to your possessions, but to your essence. The truth is, the more you obsess over her other options, the more power you give them. You become reactive, anxious, needy. You start trying to prove yourself, texting more, planning more, doing more. But she doesn't fall for the man who tries hardest. She falls for the one who seems to care yet somehow pulls her deepest. That's the paradox. Detachment is attractive. And not the fake cold kind, the real kind. The kind where you're so focused on your mission, your growth, your peace, that her attention becomes a bonus, not your oxygen. In that state, you don't compete with her options because you are the option. And if she can't see that, you walk without a flinch because you know your presence is the upgrade. A lot of men think they need to stand out in her eyes by outshining other men. But this mindset is a trap, because the moment you place yourself in that mental competition, you've already lowered your value. You've already admitted deep down that you might not be enough unless you do something extra. You start playing her game instead of leading your own. That's not attractive. That's desperation wearing confidence as a mask. The men who captivate her mind and soul don't even acknowledge there's a game being played. They're not trying to be chosen. They live as if they've already chosen themselves. That confidence, that calm self-certainty makes her question all her other options. She sees those men chasing, performing, proving, while you're just being. That contrast speaks louder than anything else. You want to know why women test you, pull away, flirt with other men in front of you. It's not always to be malicious, it's to feel something, to test your center, to see if the ground shakes beneath your feet, or if you remain unfazed. because every time you react, chase, argue, or spiral, you confirm to her that you're just another guy orbiting around her. But when you observe, say nothing, and carry on with poise, you flip the dynamic. You become the center of gravity. That's when she realizes you're not afraid to lose her, and that ironically is what makes her terrified of losing you. Her other options may be entertaining, but you're an anchor, and anchors don't move for waves, they hold the storm in silence. Let's talk about female psychology. Most women live in a state of emotional duality, wanting the thrill of being desired, but also desiring the man who doesn't flinch at the thought of losing her. It's a contradiction that confuses weak men, but empowers those who understand it. If you become reactive to her flirty behavior with other guys, she knows you're emotionally invested. But when you remain calm, unbothered, and even slightly amused, you're demonstrating supreme control. That's seduction in its rawest form. You're teaching her, you don't control me, with comparison. You're showing her that your self-worth isn't up for negotiation. And when a man radiates that energy, she starts forgetting about her options entirely, because they start to feel like distractions. But you feel like destiny. Every man must come to this realization. Women are supposed to have options, just like you should. And if you're a man of value, of course other men will want what you have. But that doesn't make them competition, it makes them confirmation. Proof that what you have is desired, but not possessed. When a woman has options and still chooses to orbit around your quiet, self-contained confidence, it's not because you begged or chased, it's because you made her feel something deeper than excitement. You made her feel safe in your stillness. She knows other men can offer attention, gifts, affection, but very few can offer masculine peace. And once a woman tastes that peace, everything else feels chaotic, loud, distracting. That's why you win, not by fighting her options, but by making her forget them. You want to stand out? Don't compete, disappear. Not physically, but emotionally. Don't explain yourself. Don't react. Don't overinvest. Give her your presence like a flame gives heat, naturally, powerfully, and only when she steps close enough to feel it. Let her wonder why you're not chasing. Let her question why you don't seem bothered by her Instagram attention or the guy friends she swears are just friends. Let her talk while you walk. The man who speaks less and observes more always sees the game before it's played. And when you can see the game, you can't be manipulated by it. You stop being her option and become her standard. She stops comparing men to each other and starts comparing them all to you, and none of them measure up. The man who sees her other options and remains calm is not a fool, he is free. He knows that emotional investment is a privilege, not a right. That just because she has a pretty face and attention from others doesn't mean she holds power. In fact, most women who keep many options do so not because they are empowered, but because they are afraid. Afraid to commit, afraid to surrender, afraid to lose control. But here's the irony. Women only surrender emotionally to the man who does not need them to. The moment you place her on a pedestal, you've already lost. But when you look her in the eyes with full presence, no hunger, no fear, and simply observe, you become the mirror she's been terrified to look into. You show her her own emotional chaos, and in contrast, your internal calm becomes irresistible. Most men misunderstand hypergamy. They think it's about money, looks, or status, but at its core, hypergamy is about emotional elevation. A woman seeks the man who makes her feel something, not just in the beginning, but perpetually. And ironically, the man who does the least chasing, the least explaining, the least reacting, is the one who triggers the deepest obsession, because he isn't trying to win her, he's already whole. And a woman's hypergamous instinct doesn't want a man who tries to impress her, it wants a man she wants to impress. The moment you give her that space to pursue you, her other options dissolve in the background. They feel too easy, too available. But you're the fire she can't figure out how to contain, and that burns deeper than anything else. You know what turns women off faster than anything else? Emotional neediness, disguised as romantic effort, and nothing reveals that weakness faster than jealousy over other men. When you ask her who she was texting, or why she's not replying as fast, or who that guy was on her story, you've lost frame. Because what you're actually saying is, I don't believe I'm the most valuable option, and I need reassurance from you. That's the biggest mood killer on earth. Because now she's not thinking about how amazing you are. She's thinking about how emotionally fragile you've just shown yourself to be. Instead, let her feel the weight of your indifference. Let her notice that you noticed, but you didn't move. Let her feel your silence, your calm stare, your decision to go inward instead of lashing out. That's the type of masculine response that changes how a woman sees a man forever. Women are drawn to mystery, not confusion, but mystery. And nothing is more mysterious than a man who is unaffected. A man who doesn't panic, doesn't bag, doesn't ask for validation. A man who lets her explore her options without trying to compete with them because he knows they're not him. This is not arrogance. This is spiritual power. This is knowing that you are not here to audition for love. You are the experience. She can date the charming guy, the rich guy, the funny guy, but none of them will make her feel the way you do when you walk into a room without needing to be seen. That's why it's not about removing her options. It's about becoming the one man she can't replace no matter how many followers or DMs she collects. Because you were never chasing her, you were chasing purpose. And women chase the man chasing purpose. When a woman senses that your sense of self isn't tied to her approval, her world shifts. You become unpredictable, but safe, distant, but grounding, unavailable, but present. You become the paradox that every feminine soul is secretly starving for. And the more you hold that energy, the more obsessed she becomes. Not because you're playing games, but because you're living truth. The truth that your value isn't up for negotiation, that her other options don't make you blink because you already know the truth. They don't carry what you carry. They don't see what you see. They don't lead how you lead, and if she's too blind to see that now, let her go. Because when she finally understands, it'll be her chasing you and her options. They'll vanish like smoke in the shadow of your presence. You must understand this deep truth. Women don't respect men who concern themselves with competition. The moment you start checking her likes, monitoring her replies, trying to outshine the next man, you've already placed yourself beneath her. You've become a boy in her eyes, battling for a woman who wants a man above the games. Her other options only matter when you think she's the prize. But when you become the prize, when you become the standard, her other choices shrink under the weight of your presence. You don't need to talk down to them. You don't need to compete. Your existence alone speaks volumes. You are not part of the selection. You are the man she begs to select her. There's a special kind of attraction that happens when a man is unfazed. When she tests you by mentioning other guys, when she flirts to see your reaction, when she pulls back to gauge your response, and you remain calm, composed, still, that is when she feels the real fire, because now she's not leading the dance, you are. And feminine energy, no matter how chaotic it acts on the surface, always seeks to surrender to a grounded masculine frame. You are the rock in the storm. Her options are just the wind, and when she sees that wind doesn't shake you, she'll return. Every time. More humbled, more obsessed, more willing to prove she deserves a spot in your world. Hypergamy is not evil. It's ancient. It's instinct. A woman is wired to seek the best option, not for luxury, but for survival. But what does best mean today? It's no longer just about money. It's about emotional strength, inner power, social intelligence, sexual mastery, direction, presence, purpose, and most importantly, it's about being unaffected by chaos. That is what women truly cannot resist. The man who walks through life knowing who he is, never adjusting his core to accommodate temporary attention. So when she senses you don't even flinch at the mention of other men, you don't chase, you don't compare, you activate her primal desire to win you. And trust me, when a woman is trying to win you, her other options cease to exist. Think about the men she chases the most. They're never the loud ones. They're never the desperate ones. They're never the guys trying to convince her they're better than the rest. It's always the one who says the least, who shows up when he wants, who moves like he doesn't need her, but respects her presence when she's in alignment. That's the man she dreams about. That's the man who lives in her head rent-free. You see, women are deeply psychological. They feel before they understand. And if you make her feel uncertainty, mystery, strength, calm dominance, she'll convince herself that you are the only one who can give her the emotional ride she craves. And at that point, her other options become just noise in the background of your gravity. Stop trying to control what she sees. Let her talk to other men. Let her post what she wants. Let her follow whoever she likes. But you control your own behavior. You maintain your standard. You guard your peace. You decide if she meets your criteria, not the other way around. And when she realizes you're not a man who begs, pleads, or performs, she will reevaluate her entire strategy. She will begin to shift from comparing you to others to comparing them to you. And no man who lacks your depth, your frame, your calm, your mystery, your purpose, will ever make her feel what you make her feel. That's how you win without chasing. That's how you dominate without words. And that's why her options should never disturb your peace. When you stop trying to fight hypergamy and start using it as a compass, your entire dating life transforms. You no longer waste time reacting to female behavior. You observe, you assess, and most importantly, you lead. You know that women are biologically programmed to test and compare. That's not your problem. Your only concern is whether a woman is willing to follow your lead, not whether she's distracted by noise. Because the truth is, the man who walks in his own direction, who doesn't pivot based on her attention, eventually becomes the destination she can't ignore. It's not about making her choose you. It's about becoming so centered, so confident, so free from outcome, that she realizes no other man makes her feel this way. There is nothing more intoxicating to a woman than a man who knows his worth without advertising it. A man who doesn't explain, doesn't argue, doesn't justify. He simply is. And because of that, she feels she has to earn her place next to him. That subtle shift from you being the applicant to being the interviewer is what flips the entire dynamic. Suddenly, her other options fade into irrelevance, not because you destroyed them, but because they don't operate on your frequency. They respond to her. You lead her. And a woman who's truly feminine, who craves real masculine energy, will always gravitate toward the one who doesn't need her, but welcomes her with conditions. The moment you compare yourself to other men, you lose sight of your own power. Your strength is not in being better than the next guy. Your strength is in being complete without needing to be better than anyone. When you walk into a room and your presence says, "I am not here to impress, I am here to be," every woman feels it. Her instincts pick up on it. Her nervous system registers safety, mystery, danger, dominance, all at once. The men who lose sleep over her DMs, who send desperate messages, who track her every move, those are the men who confirm to her that they are below her. And a woman will never fall in love with a man she has to look down on. Masculine power isn't loud, it's not flashy, it's not reactive, it's quiet, it's rooted, it's the calm in the storm. And when a woman sees that nothing, not even her games, her options, her beauty can shake you, that's when obsession begins. She starts to question her own worth in your presence. She begins to wonder if she's good enough for you. You become the mirror that reflects her deepest insecurity, that she can't manipulate you, she can't move you, she can't own you. And ironically, that's what makes her want you even more. Because for the first time, she feels something real, something rare, a man who cannot be controlled, and therefore is truly desired. So stop looking sideways. Her other options are not your business. Your business is you, your purpose, your growth, your energy, your kingdom. When you fully lock into your mission and live in alignment with your truth, the noise fades, the games fade, the tests stop mattering, because you're no longer playing her game, you've built your own. And in that world, she either joins you with humility or she loses you forever. You don't chase, you don't compete, you don't prove, you simply become. And in becoming, you attract everything and everyone that was meant to follow. That is the essence of masculine power. That is how you rise above her options. And that is why they should never worry you. Not now, not ever.